69-year-old American emerges as new pope, takes the name Leo XIV. We will partner state governments to deliver infrastructures across the country, President Tinubu promises as he inaugurates projects in Anambra. Senate passes 2 tax reform bills, the 4 tax bills to be transmitted for presidential assent. A very good evening to you and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Juma Yusuf. I have Adiola Kame Akere joining me from Lagos, and Benny Adams is on business news. Francesca Bele from our sports desk is our anchor tonight. Do remember to follow this newscast on all our social media handles displayed on the screen. And tonight, and once again, we're putting Nigeria's power sector front and center. With the first quarter of 2025 just ended, it clearly appears that critical decisions must be made to energize homes, businesses, and the nation. Generally, but where should we focus first? Cheaper bills, uninterrupted light, cutting-edge infrastructure, or a greener grid? Let's hear your voice as you vote in tonight's poll. What should be the top priority for Nigeria's power sector next year? Scan the QR code, make your pick, and stay tuned for the result of the survey. Now, Robert Francis Prevost from United States has been elected the 267th Pope of the Catholic Church in a conclave that spanned 2 days. The new Pope, who is the first American pontiff in history, will be known as Leo XIV. Let's take a listen to Ekene Ndulue's report.
Robert Francis Prevost became the first Pope from the United States from the conclave, picking the papal name Leo XIV after cardinals from around the world elected him leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. Tens of thousands of people packed in St. Peter's Square cheered as Prevost appeared on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. "Peace be with you," he told the crowds. White smoke from the Sistine Chapel had billowed into the sky on the cardinal's second day of voting to announce his election in a secret conclave, while the bells of St. Peter's Basilica and churches across Rome rang out. Crowds of people rushed towards the square to watch the balcony of the Basilica, which has been fitted out with red curtains for the first address to the world by the 267th Pope. The new pontiff, who succeeds Argentine reformer Pope Francis, was introduced in Latin with his chosen papal name. 133 cardinals from 5 continents, the largest and most international conclave ever, began voting on Wednesday afternoon. Sworn to secrecy, their only means of communicating their progress to the outside world was by sending up smoke through the chimney of the Sistine Chapel. It was unknown how many ballots it took to elect the new pope, but it followed recent history in wrapping up in less than 2 days. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has offered his warmest congratulations to His Holiness Leo XIV on his election as the Pope, the Bishop of Rome, and the new leader of the Roman Catholic Church. The President felicitates the conclave for electing the American Robert Francis Cardinal Prevost as the 267th Bishop of Rome. President Tinubu rejoices with the leadership and congregants of the Catholic Church in Nigeria on the historic election of the new pontiff, whose message of faith and hope already resonates across the globe. With a reassurance from the scriptures of a more peaceful world, the President affirms the valued relations shared between Nigeria and the Holy See over many years, while acknowledging the rewarding partnership with the Catholic Church in peace building, education, healthcare, infrastructure, and most recently, the promotion of technology in advancing human capacity. President Tinubu believes the election of Pope Leo XIV opens a new chapter in the history of the Catholic Church and the values of love, humanity, and charity, particularly to the underprivileged, that it has consistently projected. And now we're being joined via Zoom from Senegal by Most Reverend Ignatius Kaigama, the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja. Is attending West African Catholic Bishops Conference. You're welcome to Network News.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening.
Congratulations on the new Pope.
Oh, thank you so much. So happy, so happy.
Exactly. And people around the world, really want to know who the new Pope is. So let's get your initial impression of the new Pope's background and experience.
Well, we are still, trying to get to terms with what has happened. It's such a wonderful event that it has interrupted even our meeting here in Dakar, Senegal, because we're so excited. We have been waiting very anxiously and patiently to get our new Pope, and God has provided one. And he's a well-chosen Pope. You have already a lot about him. You know him to be from the United States of America. We also know that he was the Prior General of the Augustinian Order in the world. He belongs to a congregation called the Augustinian Order, and he was the overall head in the world. He was a missionary in South America, and precisely in Peru, where he rose to become a bishop. And from there, he was called to Rome to work in the congregation for bishops, where he was in charge of bishops' nomination in Europe and America. And today, by the grace of God, he is Pope Leo XIV. We are so, so happy, and we thank God for giving us a good Pope.
Yes, I was reading up earlier before we started the news, and I read up something, and I'm going to read it to you now, that the Pope is known for his humility, missionary zeal, and commitment to serving marginalized communities, embodying the qualities of servant leadership that, and now tell us what kind of leadership style will impact the Catholic Church globally with the new Pope.
Yes, I happen to know the new Pope personally. We have met at different events. He has visited Nigeria many times. I have met him in Rome in the Augustinian headquarters, and he's a very humble person, very likable person, and friendly, and he's definitely a down-to-earth person. In South America, in Peru, he worked with the lowly, the marginalized, the poor, the abandoned, and so on. I believe he will bring all this into his pontificate, and we are going to see another dynamic and very devoted servant of God ministering to the people he has been asked to shepherd. So I'm very confident that this Pope is going to be both a giant spiritual leader and also very devoted to economic, social, political issues that will make the world a better place. He's going to combine all this together with his experience in the past. He's going to be a prominent figure in our contemporary world.
Okay, Bishop Kaigama, how would the new Pope's perspective shape interfaith dialogue and relations with other religious leaders across the world? And what are your expectations of the new Pope's role in addressing social justice and human rights issues?
He is definitely going to continue with the issue of the interreligious dialogue. It's so important. The world must be at peace. Different religions, different cultures, different approaches to worshiping God. This should not divide us. They should rather unite us. And the Pope has chosen, remember, a name. After Pope Leo XIII, he chose the name Leo XIV. And I'm sure he must have thought of the kind of personality Leo XIII was. And he must have said, oh, I like the way he carried on in his papacy. Leo XIII was known for his conciliatory moves and, reaching out to authorities in government. He wrote an encyclical called Rerum Novarum, which addressed the rights of workers. The conditions of workers must be very favorable. They must get good pay and all that. So he was very concerned about their social welfare. And if the Pope has chosen Pope Leo XIV as his name, then it means he's likely to continue in that way. promoting peace, promoting world harmony, and doing everything possible to stop war and to prevent war from happening. His first words of greeting was, "Peace be with you." So I believe that will be his main agenda. If we have peace, justice will flow, love will flow, development will follow. Everything will fall in line. Let us have peace, and we shall enjoy this world.
Bishop Ignatius Kaigama, thank you so much for your contribution to this conversation. Congratulations once again.
Thank you. We are so happy. Thank you for...
Thanks for your time.
And
Bishop Kaigama joined us from Senegal. Now to other news. President Bola Tinubu has promised to intensify partnership with state governments in delivering shared prosperity to the people of Nigeria, as building critical infrastructure across the country remains the determination of his government. The president said this as he addressed people of Anambra at Alex Ekweme Square, Oka. State House correspondent Musbaud Wahab reports that the president inaugurated some legacy projects executed by Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State. The report will come in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, the federal government has launched the National Action Plan on Ending Violence Against Children in Nigeria, with a call for stiff enforcement of the Child Rights Act and other child protection laws that guarantee the safety, dignity and future of Nigerian children. President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, stated these at the first regional meeting of the Africa Pathfinder countries of the Global Alliance on Ending Violence Against Children at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
On behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, for unveil his National Action Plan on Protection Against Child Violence.
A commitment to establishing a dedicated child protection and development agency to ensure coherent coordination of all issues relating to the Nigerian child. President Tinubu assured that relevant government institutions, including the Ministry of Women Affairs, are armed with the required training and resources to spearhead the protection of the Nigerian child.
We are strengthening existing institutions and laws and launching national campaigns to promote awareness and drive behavioral change. We are also building institutional frameworks that guarantee children's issues are never again consigned to the periphery of policy making. These issues will now take center stage in interministerial collaboration, in policy innovation, and in budgetary priorities, through dedicated grant mechanisms that support this vision. This is what it means to be a pathfinder.
Underlining the importance of the first regional meeting of the Africa's Pathfinder countries under the Global Alliance on Ending Violence Against Children, Vice President Kashim Shettima reaffirms Nigeria's commitment to significantly accelerate efforts ensuring child protection and well-being are prioritized on the national agenda.
We must invest in prevention. Prevention is not only more humane, it is more cost-effective. Parenting programs, school-based safety campaigns, community sensitization, and empowering our children as agents of change must be scaled up.
National policy on safety, security, and violence-free schools. We also have a safe school declaration. But notwithstanding, upon seeing the rising crisis of violence in school, the ministry recently launched the national policy on anti-bullying in Nigerian school with its implementation guideline. This was done on Monday, 5th of May, 2025.
The National Homegrown School Feeding Program, so that we can reach out to many children, improve their nutrition, school enrollment, and also completion rate. And this, we believe, will significantly improve the prosperity and rights of Nigerian children.
I just want to finish telling that Africa, my God, it's the youngest continent in the world, and children have to be seen as an asset to invest on and not as a problem to resolve.
Et des enfants déplacés internes qui sont devenus des...
The heads of delegation of the regional meeting from Zimbabwe, Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone and Burkina Faso stated the recommitment of their various countries to the Global Alliance to Ending Violence Against Children as declared in November 2024. They presented progress reports from their respective countries, commending Nigeria, urging all stakeholders to be intentional about ending violence against children to actualize the objectives. From the State House, Brahman Jibrila, NTA News.
And from the legislature, Senate has passed the tax reform bills, concluding clause-by-clause consideration, which began Wednesday, paving the way for a new tax regime in Nigeria that is streamlined for economic prosperity. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the 4 tax reform bills will be transmitted for assent by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu after harmonization with the House of Representatives.
Those in support say aye.
Lawmakers in the Red Chamber used 2 days for clause-by-clause scrutiny of the 4 tax bills, which are the Joint Revenue Board Establishments Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishments Bill, the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, and the Nigeria Tax Bill. The executive bills are aligned to the Finance Act, with rejigged VAT sharing formula and additional beneficiaries of development levy to include other key sectors, among others.
What we did in these bills, we have created the Nigerian Revenue Services with an executive vice chairman and a non-executive chairman. And we said the Nigerian Revenue Service will need not less than 6 executive directors.
These 4 bills for Mr. President to sign, which will not only bring peace to Nigeria, will bring more money to Nigeria and development, and then leave the bills as legacies for future generations, where government only for a period, others will come after us.
We remain focused. Having passed the tax reforms, we are moving on to work on electoral reforms. And we are moving on as well to work on constitutional reforms. We are very clear as to our mandate and our agenda.
In the meantime, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, at the commencement of plenary, read communications from President Tinubu requesting confirmation of chairman and board members for the Southwest, South, South, and North Central Regional Development Commissions. Senate also held a valedictory session in honor of the late elder statesman, Chief Edwin Clark.
As a senator of the Federal Republic, he did all he could for his people. He stood for his people. He stood for Nigeria.
We can't replace the voice of Edwin Clark. But what we can learn is that never should any one of us feel so comfortable in a system as to be unable to speak truth, even in power.
Chief Edwin Clark spoke for us more than any other person. He was the voice of the minorities.
The great soul of Edwin Clark, who gave his all in the service of the Niger Delta people, the minorities of Nigeria, the Nigeria as a nation, rest in perfect peace.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to establish more compressed natural gas CNG conversion center across the country. This resolution of the House followed the adoption of a motion by Deputy Minority Leader Aliu Madaki. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ikne tells us more.
Lawmakers at plenary acknowledged the presidential compressed natural gas initiative as a panacea to the removal of fuel subsidy about 2 years ago. They believe the conversion of vehicles to CNG will bring down the cost of living for Nigerians, hence the need for equitable distribution of the CNG conversion kits and centers across the geopolitical zones of the country.
Only Kaduna in Northwest is benefiting from the presidential initiative, while no state in the Northeast is listed as a beneficiary.
Look at the cities that were exempted. Talk less of even the corridors. Look at the corridor of Lokoja, Abuja, Kano. Why are the CNG platforms?
It's a federal government project, and it's very important that it spreads across board without any segregation.
Another resolution sought the establishment of more permanent NYSC orientation camps.
Disturbed by the current dilapidated state of permanent orientation camps in the country, which is causing dissatisfaction due to inadequate facilities, urge the Federal Ministry of Youth, in collaboration with other stakeholders, to work out modalities to achieve the construction and expansion of NYSC orientation camps.
5 bills were passed at Thursday's plenary, including a bill seeking establishment of a National Science, Technology, Innovation and Research Council to set national priorities. Another bill to amend the National Primary Education Commission Act passed second reading.
The bill is set to correct the foundational gap by ensuring that the language of instruction in the first 3 years of primary school is the child's mother language tongue or the dominant local language of the community.
Meanwhile, the trend of defections continues in the House as 3 lawmakers from Katsina State formally announced their resignation from the People's Democratic Party to join the governing All Progressives Congress, citing internal party crisis in the PDP as reasons for cross-carpeting. Their defection was witnessed by Katsina State Governor Diko Umar Rada, who was in the hallowed chamber to show solidarity. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA. We'll pause for some messages. The news continues in a moment. Yeah, welcome back, and we now bring you the report on the presidential visit to Anambra State.
Third visit of President Tinubu to the southeast since assumption of office. It was a unified moment with governors from across the geopolitical zones joining the chief host to receive the president.
God of honor!
The commander-in-chief was also received by a detachment of the Nigerian military. Warm atmosphere in Oka. The strategic 50-year developmental plan of Anambra is beginning to come into fruition, with some legacy projects of Governor Soludo providing solution to the infrastructural need of the state. The former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Chief Emeka Anyoko himself, welcomed the president at the Institute of International Studies and Diplomacy, built in Unizik and named after him by the state government. The president also inaugurated the Solution Fund City and a new government house started and completed under the first term of the governor. And then, President Tinubu returned to the Alex Ekweme Square, where he came to seek for support ahead of the 2023 presidential election, this time as the sitting president. The president commended the governor's efforts in addressing insecurity and on other projects which he described as solid foundation for the growth of the state.
With our progressive ideological alliance, we will continue to partner with your state to deliver shared prosperity in Anambra and all Nigeria.
Highlighting various programs and policies of his administration and reforms which he said are already building investors' confidence, President Tinubu assures the people of Anambra of more federal government interventions, including rectification of the rail line and the National Gas Master Plan that for now bypass the state.
I'm standing before you that this already designed a Ministry of Transportation is aware to include the connection in the master plan, and it will see attention. Our diversity must lead to prosperity. We must work together.
Thank you for all the hard work you put in to move Anambra and Nigeria forward. We know the state of the Nigerian economy with all its unsustainable dysfunctionalities. when you assumed office. You had the courage to tame the Atlantic Ocean in Lagos, and now you have the courage. You are courageously and systematically getting the economy to work again. There is still a lot of work to do, we know, but there is no doubt that in less than 2 years, important building blocks are already falling into place.
Another feather to the cap of the president, as the Council of Traditional Rulers, Anambra State, conferred on him the title of Dike Simba, translating to a warrior from another origin. The president is back in Abuja. In Abuja, Musbah, then Wahab, NTA News.
To further strengthen peace and security framework in the country and edifice to serve as a strategic coordination hub for operations of the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, North Central Region has been inaugurated in Minna, the Niger State capital. The initiative under the Office of the National Security Advisor is expected to also serve as a zonal center for intelligence gathering and analysis. Usaina Musa has an update.
The North Central Zone of the country consists of about 114 local government areas, with some bordering other countries, leading to its fair share of banditry activities and illicit arms trafficking. Activities of the gun runners and notorious blacksmiths have further worsened the proliferation of illicit firearms within the zone and increased the incidence of insecurity. This inauguration, therefore, is to further enhance the mandate of the National Center for Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons through intelligence gathering to evaluate the illicit firearms supply chain, routes, destinations, stockpile, traffickers, and local manufacturing syndicates with a view to mopping up and preventing the illegal trade.
The establishment of this zonal office underscores the unwavering commitment of the federal government to ensure peace, security, and sustainable development across all regions of our great nation.
We work with the NSA and the ONSA to establish the North Central Security Committee.
We have a DEX office to enhance the efforts that we are doing to restore peace in the North Central region.
With emphasis now placed on sensitization and advocacy, the North Central Zone Office, located in Minna, is expected to serve as a platform for enhanced interagency collaboration and a base for community engagement and awareness programs. In Minna, Usaina Musa, NTA News.
Now to other news. The Ministry of Livestock Development says it will prioritize made-in-Nigerian products to develop the critical infrastructure within the industry's value chain. Minister Idi Mukhtar Meha said this during a facility tour at the Abuja Investment Park Free Zone entity in Idu. Yusuf Jika reports.
Apart from engaging in the production of other products, Abuja Industrial Park Free Zone entity also produces cold chain storage facilities and irrigation accessories to drive dry season cultivation of pasture capable of transforming the livestock industry. The visit of the Minister of Livestock Development to the facility is to build cooperation and foster relationships between the ministry and the industry through patronizing its products to facilitate transformation in line with the renewed hope agenda.
Today, we have Nigerian company manufacturing drip irrigation pipes, as well as cold chain transportation, cold chain storage for both red meat and dairy. This is the way to go.
We are going to create a synergy together with the ministry.
The minister has also taught Golden Camel Range in the FCT and encouraged Nigerians to key into the various value chains within the livestock industry.
1 liter of camel milk is 25,000 naira. Here it is. And people come here to book, restaurants come here to pay upfront. This is the way to go. Livestock is open for everybody.
In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited has again met with stakeholders to assess achievements and progress made so far in ensuring the security of pipelines. The Babri Sidioma Nweke reports that the stakeholders meeting held in Port Harcourt.
Stakeholders from 215 communities across Imo, Abia and Rivers states within the 9 Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited zones gathered to discuss progress, challenges and the way forward. The forum is to appraise the level and progress so far and ways to improve on their operations within host communities towards securing pipelines. Community Relations Consultant, Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, Dr. Akpos Meze, says the gathering is to ensure the stakeholders are on the same page, hence the collaborative approach with host communities.
The communities are critical stakeholders in the surveillance job. And of course, our operations are intelligence-driven. So with the cooperation of the communities, we have been able to reduce infractions on the pipeline. And the result is obvious. We have gotten increased crude oil production.
In their feedback, participants called for enhanced communication and inclusion of host communities.
Communication has a lot to do. If you keep people in dark, you make them to speculate. They may either speculate rightly or wrongly.
As you go, try and encourage your sister companies working in our various communities. Teach them communication, please.
Certificates of recognition were presented to some contractors who have distinguished themselves in their domain. In Port Harcourt, Diba Barisid Maweke, NTA News.
The Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, has celebrated the inclusion of the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pati, in Time's prestigious list of the 100 most influential people in global health for the year 2025. NMA, in a statement, describes the recognition as a statement to President Bola Tinubu's reform in the health sector, which the association says are already delivering measurable results. Professor Pati's leadership, NMA emphasizes, has achieved record-breaking health insurance enrollment with 2.4 million Nigerians newly enrolled in 2024 alone, alongside the expansion of access to essential medicines and improved health infrastructure across all 36 states and the FCT, all while laying the foundation for a more resilient and equitable health system. It's time to take a pause here as we join Adiola in our Lagos Network Center for more on NTA Network News. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much, Jume. Towards repositioning the federal government-owned media house management of the Voice of Nigeria VON, led by the Director General Jibril Baba Ndache, visited the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, to solicit partnership with the aim of promoting enhanced service delivery between both agencies. Diana Ajala reports that the DG also disclosed that VON is set to open in Madrid, Spain soon.
Recognizing the crucial role and contributions of the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, in human capacity building of workers in the public and private sector of the nation, particularly in an era with the ever-changing trends in leadership style, the visit of the Director General, Voice of Nigeria, Jibril Baba Ndache, and his team could be best described as an august meeting. The DG noted that the visit is for both agencies to synergize for improved service delivery, while offering ASCON a platform at VON with the aim of disseminating happenings at the college.
The role of human oversight remains very constant and critical to success of every organization and every country. We are also here to help ASCON tell its own story.
Ndachi also shed more light on the ongoing development plans at the Voice of Nigeria.
We are determined to reposition the institution with the support of the President and Commander-in-Chief and the Minister of Information, the idea of placing public media institutions where they truly belong.
And for the Acting Director General, ASCON and management, effective collaboration such as this will go a long way in reshaping the operations of both agencies.
Voice of Nigeria
is 7 plus 1, at least 7 languages plus the English language we are used to. So those who are used to Dutch, they will hear, German, they will hear, and so on and so forth. We are happy to say that Mandarin is also coming. So in China, they'll be hearing about us too, and all of that. So it's a good one for us.
The like-minded agencies later exchanged pleasantries with gifts that would serve as a reminder of their visit. A tour of the college's facilities rounded off the visit. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Nascon Allied Industries PLC, makers of Dangote salt, has declared a dividend of 2 naira per share for every single share as at December 31, 2024. Bolaji Akim reports that this was part of resolutions reached by shareholders and management team of the company at the 2024 annual general meeting.
It was another opportunity for shareholders and management of NASCON to critically look at the performance of their investment for year ended 2024. Though held virtually, shareholders commended the bold initiative of NASCON Allied Industries PLC's management for moving the company forward, despite various hurdles that characterized the Nigerian economic landscape during the period under review. With a total assets of 78.50 billion naira, revenue of 120.39 billion naira, and a net profit of 15.58 billion naira. For the year ended 2024, the company declared a dividend of 2 naira per share.
The competence of management. We've had a good team, and also the resilience of the support we get from our customers. And over the years, the company has grown. Last year, not only did we give 1 naira, we also gave bonus.
To keep the flag flying, management of NASCON Allied Industries PLC's strategy for the future growth will be centered on sustainable practices and innovation that will further boost the customers' and shareholders' confidence in the company.
We will continue in our trajectory of a continuous and sustainable profitable growth. That's the strategy of NASCON, and that's where we are putting all our innovations, all our key resources, all the commitment of our important stakeholders in our business, the employees of NASCON.
The main purpose of the company is to ensure that we're providing the needs of the average Nigerian. And then in terms of our shareholders, they should also expect high return on investment.
Other decisions taken at the AGM include the re-election and approval of appointment of some of the directors. In Lagos, Bolaji Akin, NTA News.
And that concludes our bit from Lagos. The network news will continue after this time out.
Thanks for joining us. Jigawa State is making remarkable progress in its effort to combat climate change and improve livelihoods through the Agro-Climatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscapes project. Governor Umar Namadi highlighted the transformative impact of the initiative, even as the World Bank's Accresal tax team leader, Dr. Joy Iganya Agene, commended the state's outstanding commitment during her assessment visit. Mohammed Musa Askira brings in the details.
Agene emphasized that Accresal is a multi-sectoral project cutting across environment, agriculture, infrastructure and livelihoods. She noted that Jigawa is excelling because of the caliber of its leadership and the unwavering drive of the state governor.
And we have no doubt that the people at the community level in Jigawa State are well positioned to benefit from the gains of Accresal.
Governor Umar Namadi, in his response, lauded the transparency and focus of the tax team leader. He acknowledged that the Accresal project is already making a visible impact on the lives of Jigawa residents.
If we have 2-5 projects like Accresal, as a government, we will just sit down. And I want to assure you that in Jigawa State, you have our partners that will ensure the sustainability of these projects.
Governor Umar Namadi led the Accresal task team to some critical project sites in some parts of the state for assessments and quality evaluation. As the team embarks upon Accresal project implementation assessments in the state, stakeholders noted that Jigawa is on the right track, setting the pace for other states in building resilience against climate change. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And Benny Adams is standing by with business news. Benny?
Thank you, Jumai. And talking business with concentration on small businesses. Now, with an estimated 40 million macro small and medium enterprises across the country, the need for diverse forms of support has never been greater. Recognizing this, the federal government, through the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, has acknowledged that government effort alone is not sufficient. Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Owen Enna, emphasized that collaboration with the private sector will significantly enhance the capacity of MSMEs, improve access to finance, and help realize the administration's goals for enterprise development.
A lot of the times, the lack of capacity and the lack of ability and knowledge can be the challenge. To 40 million small businesses, we can't do it. We can't cater to them. So what we did is that we're going into the private sector, we're going into Nigeria looking for people like you. Some of you have functional authority from how.
Now, taking a look at international currency, the Naira is still holding ground against the dollar, though it lost stamina today by a marginal 0.6% at the close of trading. Now, how much is the Naira trading against other international currencies? Looking at the US dollar, the Naira closed sales for 1,609. For the Great British Pounds, it is 2,132. While looking at the Euro, it is 1,818. And the Yuan is 222.4. And going forward, looking at the global commodities market, it is good news that Nigeria crude is selling higher than its global peers, despite losing a few cents. Now, looking at the Bonilite energy, the Bonilite at this particular point in time, how much is the Bonilite selling? The Boli is $64.27 to higher than the Brent crude, as well as higher than also the West Texas Intermediate. While the Brent West Texas Intermediate saw a 3% rise, impacted by hopes of a breakthrough in looming trade talks between the United States and China, the world's two largest oil consumers. Looking at Bonilite here, okay, it depreciated by 0.22 cents. That is marginal. The Bonilite, okay, actually went up. Brent crude by 62.93, whereas spot gold at this point sold for 3,301, and the U.S. gold futures also sold for 3,306, a marginal reduction from yesterday's trade of minus 2.5%. Going forward, looking at the Nigerian stock market at this point in time, the Nigerian stocks are doing very well at this time in Nigeria. We can see it's positive, appreciated by 0.21% to close at 109,231.94 basis points. And looking at South Africa closed on the red. It's been like this for the last 3 trading days. Not good for investors in the GSV top 40 in South Africa. Tunisia was positive yesterday, but today went down by 0.06% to close trading at this time. Jumai, it's over to you.
Okay, Benny, we'll take our break now. When we return, more reports. And sports update is next with Francesca.
Thank you, Jumai. Welcome to Sports Update. In line with the renewed Hope initiative aimed at enhancing Nigeria's sport economy, the National Sports Commission is ramping up its efforts to rejuvenate school sports through grassroots initiatives. The Commission's chairman, Shehu Diko, highlighted this dedication while accepting chess trophies from Sani Mohammed, the president of the Nigerian Chess Federation. He reiterated the Commission's commitment to supporting sports that reflect its vision of inclusive and sustainable development through the nation.
To give every sport the right support, the right opportunity comparatively to what we can get there to do that. So we can be rest assured that we will do everything possible. Whatever we need to do, we will do.
Whose participation brought us here. And then they need to see that it is real. We need to encourage them. And this is how, as managers, as mentors, we have to put.
Meanwhile, in the ongoing Europa League semi-final second leg, Mikel Arrugiza scored an impressive goal, providing Athletic Club with a glimmer of hope against Manchester United, who are leading with 4-1 after losing the first leg 3-0 at home. The Spaniards remain 2 goals behind Ruben Amorim's team, but still instilled optimism that they can overcome the remaining deficit. Currently, the winner of this matchup will advance to face Tottenham, who hold a 3-1 aggregate lead over Bodo Glimt in the final in Spain, following a goalless draw with Bodo Glimt. To tennis, defending champion Iga Swiatek advanced to the 3rd round of the Italian Open with a dominant straight set victory over Italian wildcard Elizabeth. Swiatek won 28 out of 35 service points and faced no break points, concluding the match with a 6-love, 6-1 win in just 52 minutes. Well, that's the size of our package. It's back to Jumai.
Thank you so much, Francisca. Let's take a look at the weather prospect for Nigeria and other parts of the world for Friday.
Hello, you're welcome. We've seen reduced rainfall activities over the country within the past few days. We could see some change as we get into Friday. We expect moist winds reaching as far as northern parts of the country to give prospect of thunderstorms to parts of the northwest region as far as Kebbi, southern Zamfara into Kaduna State. It may be more of strong winds than more of rain, but that notwithstanding, we expect thunderstorms over the central states and the southern parts of the country. We expect between the neighborhood of 10 to 20 millimeters of rains over the central state, and to the south, mostly the south east and the south-south, we expect rains between 20 to 50 millimeters of rainfall. That will come with strong winds, and you may want to take care. Thank you for watching.
And with weather update, we round up the news on NTA Network. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your time. I am Jumwa Yusuf.